All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case might be for you, wherever you are. I am Will Weber, the sports editor for the New Mexican, and as always, I'm joined by the much decorated but never duplicated colleague of mine, James Barron. James, dude, we are in the home stretch. We had state tennis and state track last weekend. This is the final week of the high school sports season. It starts with golf in the Four Corners area. That's where I am, sitting in my car in Kirtland, New Mexico. And then we have softball on Wednesday. We have baseball, softball on Thursday, and then which baseball I like to call Carmageddon because there's zero parking at the regional sports complex on the west side. And then Friday is a big school track and field meet along with baseball and softball finals. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of busy stuff. So my question to you is, James, how was Mother's Day? Did you score big?
Was there even a Mother's Day? Oh, you don't even want to know. There couldn't have been a worse Mother's Day as far as how things went for me and Chris. I mean, everything that could go wrong did. So I had to make it up to her last night, and we had to do it all over again someplace else.
That sounds like a whole nother podcast. We're gonna have to do a post Mother's Day
Yeah.
podcast. Look, man, the only person I know that has more hardware than you is Joey Fernandez, the legendary coach at St. Mike's. Joey, of course, the longtime football coach at St. Mike's, track and field. Like I'm Joey. I don't even know how many state championships you've won. Have you lost count of how many blue trophies you've picked up?
Actually, me and James were talking about it on
Yeah.
the other day. So it's 20 now.
20.
It,
James, how
it's a
many
big
trophies
goal,
do
and
you have?
I didn't even put that on my story, man. I totally slacked on that. I was just so burned out from everything that was happening. I mean, the drama from St. Mike's coming back from 38 points down to win that meet. That totally slipped my mind that this is 20 for him.
That's crazy. How long have you been? So you've been coach there for, I think, if my notes are right, since before dirt was invented. You've been around a long, long,
Hey,
long time. I'm surprised you
Hey,
don't have your office there.
I guess I'm showing my age a little bit there, but yeah, I've been coaching for a long, long time since actually football early '90s and track and field I started in '97. So I've been doing it for a long time and still enjoy it. So I'm sure I'll be here a lot longer. So.
Let's hope so. Yeah. Gosh, I have a story to tell. Some of Joey's history. Of course, he and I went to Chaparral Elementary back in the days when Chaparral was basically like a wide open grocery store. They didn't have walls in there. Remember, it was just partitions separating.
Yeah.
But back when I was just a wee little kid, Joey was the fastest guy in the city of Santa Fe, and everyone knew it, man. It was like Joey Fernandez is bigger than anything. And my memory of that is I think it was sixth grade. We had remember the track and field days we used to have there, or whatever they
Yeah.
field days, right? And
Yep.
I was running against you in one of the fast lanes, and the night before I was out just goofing off in the fields behind our apartment complex where I was living, and I kicked this can of tar. I got tar all over my only pair of shoes, and when I was going to school, I had tar all over my shoes. My dad's like, "Oh, well, make sure you run a good race." Like, dude, I don't have a chance against Joey. I finished out of like five people in the race. I think I finished 11th. It was terrible. That's my Joey backstory.
Yeah, we had some good times there at Chaparral. I know that.
Yeah.
But man, let's fast forward a little bit, specifically to this weekend. Just in doing my research and everything, and I think we talked about it before when we were at the meet and everything. And on the boys' side, you'd had a couple of instances where you got challenged pretty good. I think one year it was Cottonwood, another year it was last year it was Robertson. But on the girls' side, you guys have been pretty comfortably ahead of the rest of the pack here. And this is the first time that I think some of these girls really had to dig deep, to really come out to get out of that hole and everything. Looking back, what was it about those girls that really impressed you from when they were down 38?
Their grit, we had talked to them early in the week and told them it was going to be a close race, that we had to get the points that we're supposed to and even, get more points in certain events than what we're supposed to. And, we just talked to them and, we tried to put in the best meet that we could, fit people in relays and, tried to get the individual events, and max it out as much. But when we're down that many points, I think of it as a different way. I think about where we're supposed to be, not how many points we're down. So it
Mhm.
wasn't a big deal to me because I knew that we did have a lot of good events coming up. So, but we did need a couple of things to happen, and it all started in that 4x2 relay when we came out and we won that. And I hate to say it, but when Santa Fe Prep got
Yeah, the
disqualified,
DQ.
that was a big
Yeah.
thing. But the medley, Raylee coming back and edging out Santa Fe Prep, that was a 4 point turnaround. We just needed big things like that to happen. The whole second part of the track meet. So when that started happening, we thought we had a chance. And when it came down to the 4x4, that was a big race. So we're excited to see our girls go out and compete.
I don't think I've seen as many of your kids out there around the track as they were for that race. I think they all kind of knew, even the boys, they were all out there supporting your kids and everything. And that's I think you've had some big races before, especially in the 4x4, knowing what was at stake and everything. But boy, that one had a lot of drama attached to it.
Yeah, it did. We were watching actually because there was still the girls' shot put going
Yeah.
on, and we had a couple of girls that we were hoping to get some points there to put us in a comfortable position. But that wasn't panning out, and so one of the girls had to check out to go do the 4x4, so that kind of put that event on hold until after the 4x4. So the 4x4 went, and when it was done, we were state champs, and it was a great feeling to see how those girls competed and put ourselves on the podium.
Joey, you've raised the expectations so high there. Is there's got to be a certain amount of pressure thinking you almost have to win now because like anything less than first place seems almost like a letdown. Do you feel any expectations like that going into the state meet?
Um, I don't. One of the goals we always put out is to win the blue trophy, but I don't feel that pressure because I know, if we don't win it, it's because there was a better team, and we put everything that we have into those state meets. Sometimes it doesn't go the right way, and things start happening, and you lose points here, you lose relay there, but I don't feel that pressure of having to go in and win it because I know anytime that our team goes out and competes, they leave everything they have out there.
Coach, one of the things that everybody talks about, especially when over this 5-6 year run that you've had on both sides, is just the depth that you have. I think I wrote in the story on Sunday, in particular with your boys. I mean, you had somebody in every single final except for one, the 100, and you got points out of I think 14 out of 20 events. And what I don't think people realize, because I think they just assume that kids just want to come out and run track for you, but you're one of the smallest schools in 3A. I mean, people don't realize you. I think at the high school level, you guys are what, under 300 or about 300 students, and so you have to literally, you're getting most of the student population out there, to come participate for you.
Yeah, one of the big things is, trying to get kids to go out there and run. It's not always fun to go out and run, but, the kids here, they like to be a part of things. And, that's one of the big things in the spring is, being part of the track and field team. We start that, with the junior high program. That's been big in the past 4 or 5 years. And, it's grown into the boys and girls track team. I know the boys has always been a big team since I've been coaching. I try to get all my football players out there. So majority of the team is football players. So I know that I'm going to have a pretty deep boys team. Girls, it's up and down, but it's been growing the last couple of years, and just getting these kids out there is a big thing. But it's not always fun to run, like I said. So I try to surround myself with great coaches. And I think that's the big part of where we're at. The success we have is those people that I surround myself with, those assistant coaches that put in the time and the effort, and getting these relationships built with these student athletes. And it's always been a big part of what we do. So, those are the guys that I enjoy being part of my program. So I owe a lot to them, and they've done a great job past 20 some years. So thanks to them.
It can't have it, or probably wasn't always easy, because you go up to St. Mike's now, you see the track, you see all the apparatus things that a typical track team might have, but it wasn't always that way. I remember the dirt track, the cinder track that you had for the longest time. How did you build a program when basically you didn't have a lot to go on to entice them to come out in the first place? I mean, how hard was that?
We've always had, a lot of kids that just wanted to be out there, be a part of it. A lot of times it's going out there and socializing. That's a big part of, track meets, is going out there and just seeing a lot of people. But, our biggest thing has always been trying to get these guys to compete. And, we haven't had a big, time as far as getting them out there. A lot of times it's keeping them out there because of how hard it is, with the running and, just the grueling practices that we do have. So keeping them out there is always a big thing. But, back when we had the dirt track and none of those apparatuses, it was always, tough to do things, the way that we needed to when it came to the state meet, practicing handoffs, doing high jump, doing long jump, triple jump, all those things we didn't have a chance to do. And, we had opportunities to go to other tracks, but, a lot of times it was hard to do that because we had such a big team. And, it was hard for those other teams to practice. So, for the last few years of having a dirt track, we were just practicing on the dirt track. So it made it hard, but, we got through it.
Coach, one thing that I've noticed in the evolution of your track program is especially been the field events. I think jumping, you guys have been pretty good, but definitely the throws, you've seen that over the last 7 or 8 years. It's really become a big part of what you guys have done. And really, I think it's probably separated you guys from everybody else because, you look at prep, their strengths are sometimes in the sprints and in the middle distances, and they don't get those points, and obviously the jumps as well, but they don't get those points in the throwing events like you guys have been able to. I mean, I know this year you kind of had some high expectations, and discus and shot put didn't come out as well as you wanted, but you got some big points out of Nadia in the jav. But I mean, you've grown to the expectation where you guys expect to contend for individual titles in those events.
Yeah, we push the field events. There for a while it was mostly boys that we were getting. I think at one point in my career, I think I had like 20 boys throwing. Now we're about 7 or 8 boys, but they're all good throwers. They're out there and they're competing. Girls, that's what's been growing. Usually we have 1 or 2 throwers. Now we're about 7 or 8 girl throwers. So it's been good as far as the number of throwers we're getting on the girls' side. But the development of the throwers has always been something that we're working on and we get better on every year. But the throwing has been a big part of what we do year in and year out. But it's been pretty big when it comes to state meet the last few years.
Let's also. I also wanted to ask you about Raylee and just her performance. I know you guys kind of had to. It's kind of hard, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's had to deal with the type of injuries that she's had the last couple of years with the stress fractures and stuff. And you guys have got to be cognizant of, making sure that she's not overworking herself in practices and even at meets too. But you needed her on Saturday to come up big in several different events, and she was able to do that for you.
Yeah, with Raylee, this year was about having fun. We didn't have her doing the mileage as she usually does year in and year out. She was working on hurdles, she was working on triple jump, and she was out there running a little bit. But most of the time, she was doing her hurdles, and so we didn't know what she was going to have when it came down to the doing the double, the 8 and the medley, and then the regular 800. So. Um, we ran her last week at district, and that was her only second 800 of the year. And she ran 227. So we told each other that as a coaching staff, we thought she could do it. So it was going to be a rough Saturday, though, knowing that. So we kept her out of the prelims of the medley. But going in, for Saturday she was going to have the 300 hurdles, the 8 in the medley, and the 400 in the 4x4. So it was going to be a rough one. And I talked to her about it, and she said, "You know what, Coach, I can do it." So when the 800 came around, and I saw that finish, I says, that's the competitor I'm used to seeing.
Mhm.
And then we saw the same thing at the end of the 300 hurdles. But I've never seen anything like the end of the medley. I've been
Yeah.
coaching for that many years, but I've never seen somebody drive herself to win a race like that. And that was tremendous watching her compete. And just the finish, being down, I think is probably 20 meters with 100 to go, was pretty big. And I've rewatched it, and I still don't know how she did it. And it just shows what type of competitor she is. And 2 events later, she's out there doing the 4x4, and taking our school to win the 4x4 and win the state championship. It just says so much about how much Raylee has done to become a great competitor, but be a great teammate also.
And it wasn't like, she chased down somebody that that was chopped liver there. I mean, Helen's been a great 800 runner for them. As a matter of fact, she was what, the 2 or 3 seed in the 8, so you knew what she was capable of. And when she gets that 40-meter head start on her, at the start of that final leg, I mean, you knew Raylee was going to have to do a lot to overcome that and everything. But boy, especially that last 200 meters, she sure did.
Yeah, and Helen wasn't, she wasn't going slow, and she was still moving pretty fast. I watch it, and I just don't know how it happened, but it was a gritty performance by Rayleigh.
Go ahead there, James. I'm
But
sweating to death in my car in Curlin. I yeah. Hey, Joe, I actually blame you for making me come up here and cover golf while James is in Albuquerque sitting in his living room. The air conditioning. It's all his fault.
What did I do?
No, it's just easier to blame you than it is to blame myself for coming up here. Let's do that.
yeah.
Look, it's been a great year for you. Football state championship, a couple track championships. I mean, what do you do with all the extra trophies? Where do they go? Do you just throw them in a box in a closet somewhere? What do you do with them?
Well, the blue trophies are over here. They're here at the school. They're in the trophy cases. So they have those out there where everybody can see them. But everything else, I just take them home and put them away. So,
That's like
but
James. See, James has all that hardware. You can't even see anything behind him there. He's just. You might have wallpapered his room with them though, but you never know.
Yeah.
I know what James
Chris
does.
hates every time we come back from the NMPA contest, and I've got another trophy, and she's like, "Where am I going to put this? There's no place for
Oh, poor James. Well,
it."
that's probably what you have there too, Joey. Is like, gosh, I don't know where I'm going to put all these trophies. This is a horrible problem. But look, I've talked. I'm going to stick on football for just a second. I know I mentioned this to you a time or two in the past. I've probably already written it too. But if you continue at this pace and you coach until your early 70s, you're going to pass Eric Roanhouse for the most wins all time in football state history. Well, first of all, do you see yourself coaching into your 70s? And do you even think about? I mean, you're the winningest active coach in the state of New Mexico in football. Do you ever think about? I can't, the journey that you've been on and still continue to be.
um, you know, I take it year by year. As long as I enjoy what I do, I'm going to be doing it. I don't look at myself right now as finishing up here really soon. So I want to be coaching for a long time, and I'm enjoying it still. So if I make it to my 70s, there might be a chance there, but I still got to keep my program where it needs to be, and still winning ball games. So that's always the hardest part. But as long as I'm enjoying it, I might be able to last time in my 70s. Hopefully, coach a couple of my grandkids.
How soon will that be?
Actually, probably real soon. my oldest grandchild is 11 now, so I'll
Wow.
be coaching her soon. But I have a grandson on the way that hopefully I'm coaching here in 18 years. So
Oh,
Yeah.
when you started this whole journey, and I know ultimately, I think you're at where you want, but did you kind of did you always have that vision of what you've accomplished here? I mean, you talk about being the winningest coach right now, and 20 state championships, 5 in football, what, 9 in girls track and 6 in boys. I mean, that's a resume. I think any coach they would just like to have one of those, and here you are doing it great in 2 sports.
yeah, I never envisioned it. My thing is I just wanted to coach. When I came in here in the early '90s to coach football, that was one of the things that you know has always been a dream of mine, was to win a state championship, because I never did win one as an athlete, and you know I wanted to be a part of something like that. But it took a while to get there. But I won my first one in 2003, and since then, it's been great. But they're always tough to come by. You got to have great people around you. You got to have great athletes, and you have to have a lot of luck when it comes to winning a state championship. So it's been great. But as long as I enjoy this, I think I'll be doing this for a while.
It's crazy to think that some of those guys from those early teams, like I ran into Tomas Romero at a softball game, and he's pushing 40 now. Like, golly, that makes me feel old, because I remember when he
Yeah.
was when he was still playing. To me, he still looks like that 17, 18-year-old kid, and here he is, a grown man with his own kids and his own problems, and like, golly, time just flies. It's
Yeah.
yeah, like how. First of all, how big is your Facebook group that you have, or even if you even have something like that? But I mean, you must have contact with dozens, hundreds of kids from the past, don't you?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of kids that they get a hold of me one way or the other, and they stop by when they're in town. A lot of times it's during the football season; they'll stop by practice, and I've seen a few kids the last couple of years that I hadn't seen in 10, 15 years. So it's always good to see these kids. But when they come back and visit, it makes me feel good, and hopefully, I've done something to improve their lives and make them good people. So, that's something that I look forward to.
Is that something you think about? Because we can talk all day about the guys who are all state or went on to play in college, but sometimes you just coach a kid who just maybe was just a kind of lurking in the shadows, who you influenced in some way. Have you ever had a kid come back and just talk to you about what you did to help shape their future?
I've had a couple of kids that have come back and talked to me about that, but you know, I hope I change everybody's lives in one way or the other, make them great citizen, that they're doing the right things. But a lot of times, I get a kid that you might not think, that probably didn't get a whole lot of playing time, that they do come back and talk to me about helping them out. So it's been great.
Coach, oh, how long do you see? I mean, you mentioned it before. I think you're taking it year to year and everything. But do you kind of have a plan? I mean, is there a point where you feel like, hey, if I get to this point, say 65 or 70, whatever it is, it's like, if I'm still doing a good job at it, I can go out on my terms.
I've never thought of it that way. Like I said, I've thought of it, if I'm not having fun anymore, if I'm not enjoying it, that's when it's time to get out. But if I can still move around when I'm 70, then and I'm not on a wheelchair or something like that, then I think I'll still be coaching. So, but yeah, as far as an age, I still feel young. I can still get out there and beat 75% of the team in a running race. So as long as I can still do that, I'm all right.
Who can't you beat? I'm figuring guys like Ryan and Soren, those guys. It's probably like, yeah, forget it.
Or I can't beat, but I can probably beat Ryan.
Boy, that sounds like a challenge now for him. I'm sure. Not that you haven't issued that to him already.
Yeah, he's gonna be finding me tomorrow and taking me outside to the track and make me run.
Just,
You know,
just make them just make them wait half an hour, so that way you get yourself properly stretched, man. You don't want you popping any hamstrings or anything.
Oh, I know. That might take a whole day to stretch.
There you go.
when you took over that football program, that's a program that hadn't had any success in 3 decades, really, going back to the early 70s. You know, and I know that the reclassification is to put AAA where it was and kind of send some of the other teams to a higher level. But look, you still have to develop the players. You still have to win. But I remember when you took over as head coach, I didn't think St. Mike's was ever really going to be that competitive. Now you're winning state championships. You've absolutely taken over the city of Santa Fe. Would you like just talk about the city rivalries for the most part? You've dominated Capital and Santa Fe High. That's got to be satisfactory on a level that I can't even convey just through trying to write some column about how amazing it's been. What's that mean to you?
Growing up, there was always that talk of horseman demon rivalry. So I grew up with that, being a younger brother of some of the rivalries. It was always something that I always watched and was part of. But with the Capital One, I was never part of something like that until I started coaching. My younger brother played against Capital, but I saw a couple of those games, but it was never big to me. But city rivalries have always been something that I enjoy because it brings out the best in the teams, and the horseman demon rivalry was always big. So that was something that I've always looked forward to year in and year out. And playing in Ivanhead Stadium has always been a great atmosphere. A lot of people go and watch that, and it's a great thing to be part of. And it's even better that we've been very successful in the rivalry the last few years. But I enjoy it. But when Santa Fe and Capital, when they're playing other people, I enjoy watching them go out and compete. So it might be a rivalry against them, but I'm still for the kids of Santa Fe, and they're always great kids and great competitors. One thing I want to see is I want to see that Santa Fe High boys track team this weekend. Pull up the upset and win that blue trophy. So it'd be great to see.
Will you be out there this Saturday, this weekend, or are you just going to kind of take a break, especially with the season being over?
I'm hoping to get out there on Saturday, but it might be a little tough. I got a few things going on, but hopefully I can get out there.
And
Yeah,
you also got graduation too coming up. All those parties.
James,
Yeah.
not all of us are like you, dude. We like when the season's over, we like to take time off and spend time with our family. One thing, Joey, I got to tell you, James does not have an off button. That guy, like, he'll go on vacation, he'll text me scores about games I don't even care about. It's like, dude, you got to dial it back, man. Are you good? Like,
Exactly.
he went to Greece a couple years ago, and he's basically asking me how the Fuego are doing in the middle of the night. It's like, James, I'm gonna drive to Greece and kick your butt, man. Knock it off.
Well, hell, you keep me in those text exchanges with our designer, and so I'm always, it just piques my curiosity, man. Even if I am enjoying, a nice dish and a nice bottle of wine somewhere on the coast of Greece.
Yeah, what does throttling back Joey Fernandez look like? What's he do?
I like to relax when I'm not doing something, relax, with the wife, kids, grandkids, and just enjoy it. Take some time off and just chill out. But I'd like to do something as far as getting out of town sometime in the middle of the summer. So hopefully I can do that. But most of the time I'm thinking about football and track. So it's kind of hard to do.
Is it hard to decompress sometimes?
It is. It is. This week's, the last couple of days have been kind of tough, but that's our bell. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
It's been kind of tough, but yesterday, I was decompressing in the weight room with my football team, so it's kind of different, but we try to start that as soon as possible. And we got out there in the weight room yesterday. So.
Mm. One question I did want to ask you is I think you and Lenny have the longest tenure there as far as coaches, and I think everybody. I mean, I don't think I'm telling any secrets here or anything, but it's not easy to coach at St. Mike's because there is a high standard. I think in both ends, not just the athletic side, obviously the academic side too. What is there a secret, or is there anything you figured out that has kind of helped with that longevity?
Just win? No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's the easy part, right?
No, to me, it's just making time for these kids and doing the right things and making sure these kids are doing what they need to, going to college and just making them great people. And I think as long as they're doing that, you'll be fine. But if your program's going in the right direction, you still have a chance of being there the next year. So I feel that my programs have done pretty well as far as the direction they go in, and so hopefully they keep going in that direction. And I'm still here in 10 years.
I know you're still you're a member of the Hall of Fame for softball, are you not? Is that
Yes,
right? You
yes.
still playing softball during the summers?
I haven't played in about 4 years since COVID. I haven't played, but
Wow.
I've been asked a couple of times this year, so I might come out of retirement to go do that.
You a big power hitter? What are you?
A little bit of both. I've always been middle of the lineup where they use me for my power, but I could run those bases, and fielding wise, I can cover a lot of ground out there in the outfield. So it was something that I enjoyed doing.
See, when I asked you what you like throttling back, I think you taking time off from coaching is you're still involved in sports. I don't think we're ever going to run into you at the fabric store buying
Yeah.
stuff to redo your couches or anything, are we? It's
Mm,
see you somewhere. It's going to be at a sporting event, either cheering or participating, aren't we? It's always
yeah. Yeah, it will be. There's not a lot of stuff that gets done around the house because
good.
of all this, but um, I try to keep myself busy, keep myself young, and that's something that I've always enjoyed doing was playing softball, playing basketball, and flag football especially.
Maybe you can go over to James's house and help him decorate his trophy room. You could do that.
Come on, well, it's not like you don't have any.
I don't even know where they are because last time I checked, James, we don't get paid extra for stuff like that. Maybe Joey gets bonus checks or like company cars, but we don't get anything like that for us. So
I wish.
yeah.
If they had to institute a bonus program, I'm sure that would probably help get a lot of other quality coaches there too, right?
Yeah, it would. I have quality coaches, so I don't complain about that part. So, but you know, bonus checks here and there might be nice for all of them.
I'm
Well, let me
sure.
ask you this: we've talked about the influence that you've had that like on some of these kids growing up, but like when you were coming up as a kid, is there any coach or two or three that just really kind of impacted you and steered you in a certain direction? Look, I know your family's got a long history of athletics, but was there any coach that just kind of jumps out in your memory?
I'll be honest, my first PE teacher, and you kind of remember him too, Mr. Souter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I do. Yeah.
yeah, I always looked up to him. He was a great role model, and I always enjoyed sitting and talking with him and learning what he was doing. And he was a PE teacher, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I became a PE teacher. Another one was Tom Manning. He was my junior high PE teacher, and he ended up being my boss here for a long time as the athletic director here. So I've always looked up to him and always gone to him to whether I needed advice on something. He's always been there for me. So Tom Manning was always one of the big ones.
Yeah, I'll go, James.
I was going to ask you just, I mean, just I know that we're coming to the end of this year and everything, but I'm sure, I mean, with you being out in the weight room with the other guys, I'm sure the focus a little bit is shifting to to 2025 here, especially for the football season and everything. I mean, just well before you get that break and you get yourself a little time off in the summer, what are your plans for your team? As far as this last month of May going into June.
This week we're going to do a few things. We're going to be doing a little bit of testing going in the summer. We're going to, max out on our weights, because a lot of stuff we do in the summer comes off of those maxes. And we'll go out, today and on Thursday, and we'll throw the ball around a little bit, kind of get them ready to go for the summer. Next week they'll have off, and then we'll start on the 27th as far as our summer program, getting them out here for the weight room and conditioning, and start getting them ready for some of those 7-on-7s that go on in early June.
When does the school year end for you guys? It's is it next week?
Next Friday, actually next Thursday is the last day for the kids, and next Friday is the last day for the teachers. So kind of excited about that one.
Well, I'm sure, man. But then you got all those graduation parties you got to go to.
Yeah.
Will and I already got invites from from the Hunt family for theirs this weekend, and I'm like,
Right.
well, that's a perfect time because I'm going to be at state track, so I guess I'm not
Yeah.
going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those that go around, but graduation's Friday, so that's going to be a tough thing watching these seniors go off on in their own directions, and hopefully get to see them a little bit during the next few weeks, at graduation parties and stuff like that. So
Hey, take me behind the scenes. I know, look, it's a Catholic school, and the big news last week is you finally have an American Pope. What was the reaction like in St. Mike's? Were you guys all sitting around the TV waiting to see who it was? Or like, what was it like there?
I don't know. You went here too, Will. So
Yeah.
I can remember there were probably a couple teachers who probably would have broken down crying, but I was like, yeah, I don't know, American Pope. That just
yeah, no, there was excitement here. We weren't watching, on the TVs or anything, because we didn't know who it was going to be. But when we found out who it was, there's a lot of excitement, and kids and teachers alike. We all are pretty excited about the direction the church is going. So
it's from Chicago though, so it doesn't really count yet. It's like, yeah, Chicago.
yeah.
If he's from Denver, maybe, but yeah.
What about Santa Fe? Come on, dude.
Santa Fe, yeah. I think if any Pope comes out of Santa Fe, it's going to be Joey Fernandez. That's your next move.
Oh, yeah.
In the softball Hall of Fame, you're going to be in the Coaches Hall of Fame pretty soon. If you're not already, you should be. And then the Pope. I think you could be His Holiness here in about. You're not coaching at 73. You'll be actually in Vatican City when you're 73. And your job will still be in jeopardy. You'll still have detractors coming after you then too.
Yeah, of course. And 73 is kind of young for a Pope. Come on, dude.
That
That is true.
Yeah. They might wait they might wait until he's like 80.
Yeah.
Seems like octogenarians are very popular there.
All right, James, you've talked yourself out. I can tell it. I can feel it. Just like the Eric Olin interview we did last week, you kind of petered off towards the end. Yeah, I think we need to get James.
Yeah, and I think I barely made it 15 minutes, and then the rest was just you the rest of the way.
I looked over at James, and he's like over in the corner, like, "Come on, James, come on, dude." So we have to cut it off at a certain level, and that's what I think
that's where we're at now. So
yeah, it's time to take a break. I got to go watch some more golf now that it's reaching a balmy 70, I think 9 degrees outside, so it's nice and warm in my car. So
I can imagine.
Yeah. All right, guys. But Joey, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys, anyone who doesn't know,
thank you guys for having me.
Legend.
Yeah, congrats again on the sweep there, and continued success here. We look forward to seeing you in the football season.
Yeah.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you
break.
guys.
We'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap this thing up. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. That was a good conversation with Joey Fernandez, head coach of the St. Mike's football and track and field teams. Honestly, James, the guy's a living legend. He really is in
He
city
certainly
sports.
is. Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's a guy that you put him on the Mount Rushmore, not just in northern New Mexico, but in the state of New Mexico. I mean, you just talk about he's just one of the best coaches, bar none. Doesn't matter what sport it is.
Yeah, he's definitely got his detractors, as you and I both know. There are
Yeah,
some people out there who are really, really after him on a lot of levels. It's oftentimes
Mhm.
vague with their accusations, but they are persistent. And
Very.
is when you become successful, there are more and more people coming after you for stuff you do as a coach, as a teacher, and as a person. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
as we are finding out, there are definitely some people after him right now. So
yeah,
we'll see
yeah,
how it
definitely.
goes.
But I guess we should pivot now to our last week of the prep season, man. Before we really start have to scramble for for content or talk about for our
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
I mean, today, obviously, you're in Kirtland with the state golf and
Hmm.
for the small schools. So we'll see how St. Mike's boys do, and obviously Robertson too, on the girls' side. So we'll see how that's playing out. But we look at tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day for 3A softball. We'll see if Robertson can continue this Cinderella ride that they've been on here recently. They've played the number one seed in Dexter, but I think they've got a puncher's chance at being able to, to be competitive in that game. And even if they don't win, they definitely have a shot at, at creating some trouble there for Dexter. And then obviously on the other side, I think that's a big game between Cobre and West Las Vegas. The two teams played each other about a month ago. It was the last game. The former head coach Roy Pacheco was there, and they lost 12-0. I don't think West was in the right frame of mind at that time. It'll be interesting to see what happens this time around. But I mean, the way West is playing right now, and they're the defending state champs, probably the best player, two best players in the state in 3A, and Alexis Pacheco and Malia Satete. So I give them a really good shot at getting to the winners bracket final on Thursday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too because it's our first look at Los Altos since they
Yeah,
renovated the entire softball complex there. So, yeah,
yeah, kind
it'll
of a different change there. We're used to being in Cleveland or in Rio Rancho for those first 2 days, and then going to
yeah,
A&M.
yeah. And then Thursday, of course, look, you and I have both been out to the regional complex for baseball, and
Mhm.
it's a fantastic facility. I've spent many, 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 many games there as a club baseball
It's
father.
almost like a second home for you, isn't it?
Yeah, as bad as parking is for some of the club events, the state tournament is just a nightmare. It's horrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drive down to the football stadium and walk up the hill. So my advice here, we are doing this on a Tuesday. You might want to leave now for their games on Thursday because
Yeah. I mean, start camping out Wednesday.
set up your tent in the parking lot, claim your spot. But no, it'll be interesting because St. Mike's is they are 0 for a lifetime in those first games off the bye since they found out 12 team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how they
Yeah.
do.
We've got two teams facing that there with Robertson and St. Mike's. It'll be interesting to see. Last year, none of the top four seeds that had that 2 week break made it to the semifinals. We'll
Yeah.
see if that streak continues.
Yeah, the top four seeds are 3-9 in the state quarterfinals the last 3 years since they've gone to that 12-team format with the bye
That's
format.
crazy. That's crazy.
That's
The NMA's really got to do something about that because it really doesn't benefit the teams getting a bye.
Yeah. So Thursday will be a lot of fun because it's all about softball and baseball. Then Friday, of course, the big school state track and field meet takes
Mhm.
over, which is always fun because you get like it's not you probably don't get as many kids as much maybe as much coverage as you do for the 1A 3A stuff, but you get some really good athletes for those high level schools. So those are
Absolutely.
fun.
And the big question will be, can Bryce Melton do it? And can Santa Fe High get on the podium? It's been 30, I believe it's 33 years now that that Santa Fe High has not got finished in the top three in the big school event. I know the girls did when they were in 4A about a decade ago,
Mhm.
but this is their opportunity, especially with a kid like Melton. I mean, obviously he's going to be the favorite in the 1 and the 2, and then you've got Valen Wittenberg who will be the favorite in the 4, and it may come down to that 4x4 to see if one, if they can set that record that they want to set, and two, they may need those points in order to get on the podium. So there's a lot there, and then obviously Los Alamos on the 4A side. They're both going for 5 peats as well as what St. Mike's just did, and I think the girls probably have a better shot at doing it than the boys. But strange things have happened, so we'll have to wait and see what comes out of Friday's prelims, and that'll kind of preview what we're going to see for Saturday.
Yeah. Well, next Tuesday it gets interesting for us because then we can recap the entire athletic season, and probably the week after that we can talk about our athletes of the year, and then we got to come up with subject matter for the entire summer. So any ideas you have there, James, just go ahead and throw them out there to Matt right now.
Well, hey man, I'll take sure I'll make sure to take a lot of photos when I'm over at Indianapolis for the 500, and then we can talk all about my experience at the maybe the premier racing event in America.
Well, I did put in an interview request to Xavier University to talk to their men's basketball coach, so we'll see how that
guy.
If we get him on there. It's like, Coach, you left, you didn't even say goodbye. I'm still a little hurt over that.
He said goodbye to the guy that mattered.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Grammar.
He didn't say goodbye to me. Apparently, I didn't matter to him at all. So,
yeah, I mean, he barely knows what you are whenever you're dressed up, man.
I dress the same all the time. Black shirt, messy hair. It's not hard to figure it out. My black shirt is my uniform. Whether it's hot as all get out to cover state golf, sitting in a car in Kirtland, New Mexico, or covering tennis like I was last week.
Is that pretty much all you wear, man? You just have is your closet just full of just black shirts?
Yeah, until they come up with a darker color than black, I'm going to stick with black. I'm going to do that. But it makes it easy. You don't have to worry about it. It's like, gosh, should I wear the mauve or the taupe today? No, just wear black. Just do that.
Yeah, I know. I think Matt's gonna have to bleep out that phrase that you use there.
Just black like my heart. That's basically what it comes down to.
There you go. There you go, man.
Well, all right. So one more week, and then it's summertime. So we will. Looking forward to this weekend. Thanks for watching, especially all you Joey Fernandez haters. And then any story ideas?
Like him too. Don't be so. Don't just focus on one group.
There
are people that love him too.
A lot of people that like him. Yeah, you and I are fans of Joey Fernandez.
We are.
And Joey and I go way, way back. When Joey and I were both under 50 pounds, that's when I first met him. So it shows you how long I've known him. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Yes. Take care.